Hello everyone, this is Jonathan from Hey Poor Player, and this is my review of Dex Enhanced version. Here I'll be reviewing the game, but I'll also be noting how the enhanced version differs from when I reviewed the original version of Dex last year. When watching a trailer for Dex, the first thing that came to my mind was the classic early 90s run and jumper flashback, with the 2D platforming and futuristic setting. However, when getting into Dex, I quickly found out that it was infinitely, and excitingly, more ambitious. It's surely no coincidence the game's title sounds like Deus Ex said really quickly, as Dex combines retro 2D stylings with an open world, a cyberpunk setting, and a full RPG-like character progression system. Dex, our titular blue-haired hero, starts the game staring out over the neon jungle of Harbour Prime, pondering what to do's, who to be's. When the opening cutscene finished and she leaped out her window onto the rooftops, fleeing from a sinister world-spanning conspiracy, her story seemed full of possibility. My fingers were poised above the keyboard with eagerness to see if Dex would become what it was seemingly destined to be, a brilliant harbinger of a new type of game. Dex really seemed to nail the cyberpunk ambiance from the moment it started, with gorgeous hand-drawn backgrounds and big, well-animated sprites. The backgrounds are far from static either, with bystanders walking along the streets, cars racing along the bottom foreground. Cutscenes come in an attractive, lightly animated visual novel style. The soundtrack is equally outstanding, with thrumming techno laid over haunting vocals that fluidly raise and drop the tempo when the action stops and starts. When I dropped into my first combat, everything immediately felt fluid and responsive. In no time at all, I was dodging around chain welding gangers and armoured super soldiers, peppering them with sweeps, punches and flying kicks. Platforming sections are fun too, rolling under deadly droplets of toxic goo or jumping over chasms. If you pick up a certain augmentation later in the game, Dex can perform incredible super jumps, allowing her to access a fair few semi-secret areas on isolated balconies and on sections of crumbling floor. Writing is very hit and miss in Dex. I did love how earnestly Dex threw itself into presenting the type of cultural melting pot you'd expect to find in its cyberpunk world. Right from the start, you're meeting characters from a wide variety of races and religions. There's plenty of interesting characters, like the Russian homeless hacker Georgie, who waxes philosophically while explaining his plan to hack the city's vending machines. On the other hand, there are a few rather cringe-making characters, like the Chinese hacker Tony, who gifts us with such excruciating lines as,
"Wow, Dex! Looking badass! How does it feel?" "Man, it almost makes me want to upgrade my middle finger, get off my ass and wave it around. But Deca needs the Tony skills right here."
I don't think this voice actor is going to be putting this performance on his resume. This is a world where exploitation and corporate intrigue is rampant, and you're empowered to decide if Dex is a caring character or a cynical one. Though choices are often a clear-cut case of being greedy or altruistic, they're always compelling. Since there's so many cool implants that open up opportunities for exploration, improving your character, greed is certainly a tempting option. The quests weren't just a simple matter of following waypoints to the next thing I needed to kill either. I actually had to use my brain once in a while. For example, I enjoyed tuning a radio transmitter to the right frequency to screw with the cyber arm of an upcoming boss. With the investment of a few experience points, talking your way past problems is often an edifying alternative to punching them in the face. There were also fun puzzles to solve, such as using clues to crack safes and start up reactors. Not only do quests usually give the player some interesting decisions to make, they reward exploration and experimentation on the player's part. It was only somewhere around the middle of the game the rose-tinted ocular implants I was viewing Dex through started to flicker. Dex's greatest strength is just how ambitious it is, but this is also the game's greatest weakness. Many aspects of the game feel awkward and underdeveloped. For a start, gunplay is a bit of a disappointment. In Flashback, you could draw your gun and smoothly roll into combat, dispatching an opponent with a few well-timed blasts. This has been partially fixed in the new Enhanced Edition, as you're now able to move with your gun drawn, but it's still not as smooth as in Flashback. Rolling into combat will get you shot a few times more often than not, because it takes a second for Dex to redraw her gun, though it does at least open the avenue of roll dodging backwards to reload. There's still the problem of combats all too often turning into dispiriting battles of attrition, with you and your adversaries just unloading rounds into each other, while you pause occasionally to leisurely refill your health. It really is a shame, as it wouldn't have been that hard to put some kind of cooldown on healing items, instead of just letting you spam them from the menu screen. The hacking minigame is a significant part of Dex. After interacting with the terminal you're infiltrating, cyberspace is visualised as a classic top-down scrolling shooter, where you zap insectoid-looking viruses and other deadly-looking computerised countermeasures to your intrusion. While traversing the virtual ether, you can enjoy reading private correspondence, stealing money, or doing important questy things like opening doors to another part of a level. There are a few exploits to be found in the levels, such as sneaking around corners to zap turrets with no risk to yourself. However, there's plenty of other types of viruses to give you a hard time, like the giant rotor blade twirling monstrosity that exerts a gravitational pull on your helpless avatar. If your avatar dies in cyberspace, you'll suffer a brain-frying 50 HP of feedback damage. You'll also have to recharge your focus meter with neurostims if you want your avatar to have any hit points left when you try again. The enhanced version of Dex does make failure at hacking a fair bit more consequential, adds more deadly viruses to test your cyber metal, and makes jacking in almost as much fun as jacking, well, you know, the other kind of jacking. Dex has a touch of Abe's Odyssey about it, with Dex's avatar hovering around the screen, replacing Abe's psychic farts, in the ability to enter augmented reality. This allows you to paralyse enemies and leave them vulnerable to attack, all while time is frozen and your physical body is safe. AR has been much improved since its original iteration, and is now far more challenging, but also more rewarding. Though enemies remain stunned for longer, you'll have to fight off swarms of viruses, darting around them while still defending your hacking zone. I wrote in my original review of Dex that AR felt like a gimmick, but in the Enhanced Edition it is evolved into a more integral part of the game. Still, I find the lack of a Ghost in the Shell style mind controlling hacking power a bit disappointing. Augmented reality, as it happens, is a very good way of deactivating the many security cameras dotted throughout the levels, though this just leads me to a big flaw in the game. When security cameras detect you, an alarm goes off, but other than an annoying klaxon ringing out, there doesn't seem to be any actual consequences. On more than a couple occasions I got spotted by a camera, but no reinforcements came running, and I was able to perform stealth takedowns on enemies continuing to obliviously patrol nearby. Stealth is another gameplay element that's been implemented in a bit of a half-assed way. I got to try the PlayStation 4 version of Dex Enhanced Edition, and found the controls to be very tight and responsive with the controller. I noticed no major issues with the port, other than the menu and dialogue text being a little too small to read on my telly, and I had to sit uncomfortably close to the screen sometimes, though maybe I'm just getting old. There are other key improvements in the Enhanced Edition of Dex, such as 3 new outfits that empower Dex in interesting new ways. There's the Euroforce battle rig, which turns Dex into a real tank, able to block bullets with her bare hands. The Samio cyberware lets you regenerate your focus between attempts at hacking or augmented reality, making you a genuine cyber god-S. The Armor Gear Invisisuit gives new opportunities for stealth by letting you fade into the background after a few seconds of standing still. There's also some extra side quests where you can earn these powerful pieces of prestigious apparel. Whew. The Enhanced Edition also has many bug fixes from the problematic original release of Dex, and the menus are now a lot more well organised and less cumbersome. Now I can sell random bits of junk I found on a dead guy in a sewer to weirdo store owners much more easily. Thanks, bug fixers. Overall, Dex tries to combine many disparate genres and gameplay styles in a straddling attempt so epic it's like Jean-Claude Van Damme doing the splits between two moving trucks. Unlike the light beer promoting Frenchman though, Dex ends up pulling its hamstrings and toppling the unforgiving asphalt below, with an overall experience that can't really reconcile its many elements into offering a balanced challenge. The enhanced version does add a bit of new content and clear up a few niggles, polishing the flawed gem of the original a little, but not enough to make it a sparkling jewel. Dex is a lot like its titular protagonist at the beginning of the game, good looking, fun and spunky, but not yet having the self-understanding to live up to her full potential. Though Dex herself comes to transcend her limitations through cybernetics, Dex the game will probably have to wait for a sequel to really transcend the sum of its many parts. Having said that though, the Enhanced Edition is enough of an improvement to make me raise my score of the original game from a 3.5 to a 4. Go on Dex, have an extra 0.5 on me. You've earned it, you strange neck-plated woman you.